I do self-deprecating humor.
Oh, there we go. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Yay!
Oh, right. I'm going to give it a couple seconds for YouTube to catch up. Howdy, Howlers. It's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voight. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things. I'm not doing that today. Instead, I'm talking witchy stuff with Natalie Locke.
Yes, I am Natalie Locke. I have a channel. Magically, it's like they give them away like candy. But my channel does have some writing advice, but it's not advice of, hey, listen to me. It's writing advice of, this is what I did. You don't do it. Trust me.
Yeah.
So you can see that now, but I'm switching gears and doing a Millwordy vlog, and that will be coming up on every Tuesday. So you can follow me for those antics, as well as Instagram, where I will post my daily updates, because I have to be held accountable, even if it's in my own mind.
I know those feels. It's just part of the reason why I'm on YouTube, is just to hold me accountable.
Yeah, because you don't want to you don't want to get on and be like, so didn't write anything for the past 3 weeks. Like, having to verbally admit that is enough to make me like go, you know what? Let's
like my witchy stuff, right? Like I dropped off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I was like, I'm gonna do a series, and then I did 2 videos, and I recorded the others, but I never edited them.
Ooh.
And now it's September, and I'm supposed to start a new series. So I guess I'll continue the old series in November when I'm not.
Well, I can tell you, we don't judge. We just want the information.
Yeah. Who am I? What's going on here? Natalie Locke.
What year is it?
Yeah. What is time even anymore? All right. Subscribe. All right.
Okay.
Ringing the bell.
I'm shutting my work laptop now.
Ringing the bell. And I'm going to link your channel in the things.
Sweet.
Boop. Boop. I think I have it linked in the description as well, but I'm going to put it in the chat because I can.
You got the power.
I do.
The all power of the chat when it's on your channel.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think for my launch party, I'm going to implement a bot.
Oh.
To like spam links and stuff. Not to moderate. My moderators are fine.
You're not getting replaced.
Yeah. My thing just whooped, and I'm going to address it real quick, and then I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat.
It's okay. We can carry on. I'm actually right now, chat, I'm going into YouTube so I can mute my screen, and I can reply in real time in the chat for moments like these where Sako has to go get her coffee. Because let's face it, Sako's better when she has her coffee. She's awesome when she doesn't have her coffee, but if she wants unlimited power, she needs her coffee. I have tea. So. Oop. There we go. Kelly Wright is in the place. Yaza. Hello. Eva. Orla. Hey, Orla. I gotta work on my flash fiction. I'm getting some feedback that it needs to be fixed. You're out of space?
I am out of space. I'm super out of space. My books are stacked on top of books and stacked on top of books. Maybe I can make space. Maybe this is a thing I can do.
There's hope. All right.
Hope.
Wait, that exists in this world? I've been saying, hey, I got to Eva, but if you're going to go through and highlight quotes and stuff, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to do the things.
Yeah, I figured, but I'll just say hi. You're good. All right. Orla. Oh yeah, so the last fiction. I'm getting some feedback on how to make it better. So I'm gonna need some editing, and I might actually record it and have it ready by the 25th deadline.
So I might munch on some Käsebrot.
Ooh.
We will see how much munching I do. Hello, Ginny. So good to see you. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hi, Orla. I love your Halloween hue adjustment on your user picture.
I love it. It kind of makes me think of Pan's Labyrinth with the hands that go out a little bit, even though it's like this, but still, it's what it makes me think of every time.
Hello, Pronoun. So good to see you. Woo. Hi, Eva. How's it going? Oh my gosh, Natalie. What? Is that a caterpillar? It's a caterpillar.
Oh God, I can't even see it. My eyes, I put my contacts in and my eyes are still just, oh yes, it is a caterpillar.
Hi.
I had to look in the YouTube chat, not on my phone.
Yep. Hello, Kelly. Hi, Yaza. Also, thank you. It is a dress.
Does it have pockets?
I'm so glad you love it. Hi, nerdy book nerd. Good morning. At least I think it's morning. Yeah. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.
Depending on you, yeah. I actually had to edit that out of one of my videos. I was like, well, I post this in the morning. And I'm like, morning for me, like not morning for the internet is worldwide. Like, so. And thank you, Eva, for the sub. Yeah, I will admit I'm finding new author tubers, even people who are well established, like have way more followers than I do. And I'm like, why am I just not hearing about this person? Sure, subscribe because I am soaking in all the information I can.
Super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Ketchup incidents. Oh, it's a butter bug for the emojis. So there was butter. Is that what the empty block was?
Oh, okay.
Just soaked to Natalie. How was I not subbed before? So long as it's not a butterfly. Butt bug. Yep. Yeah, it's afternoon where Nerdy is.
So Jen, I want to say she subscribed to me, but it could have been Instagram. At this point, the platforms are blending together. But also, when I had Charlie on my channel last Sunday, I think it was.
Which Charlie? Dorset?
Dorset. She's wonderful. I love her.
Yeah,
we ended up chatting like the whole time, and it was really funny. Orla was there, I know, a few others, but she was talking about how right now YouTube is kind of like removing subscribers without people unsubscribing themselves. So to double check that you are subscribed to the people that you want to be subscribed to. So I've been doing that, and I swear, but because platforms are blending, I'm assuming maybe I just subscribed on Instagram and not YouTube. But either way, so double check per Charlie, and because Charlie swears she subbed to my channel, but then she double checked and was like, oh no, and had to resub.
Yeah. I'm in love with the kitty in the box emoji. So many on the sub list, I can't tell who leaves when I see it drop. Yay, good fun with Charlie.
Yeah, I looked on my subs. It was like 160 people that I'm subbed to.
Yeah, I got like 300, 400 people.
Okay, I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, I need to go through and clean things up because there's a lot of those places don't post anymore, and haven't for years.
Yeah, I think that setting aside a day for that, kind of like a clean house, might as well clean your subs too. But then also, I think it's good to go through your subs, and you don't have to watch every video, I think is what people need to realize. Like for me, I don't plan to do self-publishing, so I'm not going to watch those videos. Now, if I change my mind, I will, but either way.
Make rounds every weekend. There are a few that they've lost more than once.
Oh, she's saying she goes through her subs every week.
And finds that she's, Oh.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. We love you.
Okay. I don't get it because, all right, Jessica, I was messaging her around 11 o'clock my time last night, and given it is 9 o'clock now, so I mean, it's like 10 hours later, but still, I'm surprised how little sleep some people get. And are like, I see them as I go to bed at night on streams or something, or on Instagram and stuff, and then I see them again the next morning. I'm like, did you sleep? I know I slept, but did you sleep? Because I swear you were up later than me.
I went to bed at 1 and got up at 7.
Bravo to you. I can't. Like the latest I stay up is 11. But also my son, he'll usually wake up at like 6:30. I got to sleep until 7 today, so got that going for me.
Nice. All right. Let's see what this book has to say.
Yes. I was telling Sako that her reading the book is making me think of Princess Bride, which would make me the grandson right now. Actually, it would make all of us the grandson, but yeah.
All of us the grandson. All right, hold on just a sec. Oh, God, we start talking about, the Temple of Apollo.
Ooh.
All right.
I would need coffee for this.
Keys to the Witch's Path. In order to find the golden mean between past, present, and future, it's helpful to have some goals or keys to keep in mind. The symbol of the key reminds us of responsibility and the ability to lock, access, or open a door. Keys invoke a sense of stewardship and connectivity to something larger than ourselves. Their weight is familiar in our hands, and their sound brings us comfort and awareness. Through them, we're able to unlock pieces of ourselves. The following 3 keys have been an integral part of modern tradition from the beginning. They provide basic guidelines that allow us to tread carefully into deeper territories. Woo!
Get more chat. Some new arrivals.
I haven't seen you in a hot minute, babe. Also, you're already at work.
Yep.
My condolences. Unless you really like your work. Yeah. In which case, brava. Hi, Kat. I have brownies, like a box of brownie stuff, like sitting on my counter, taunting me.
Ooh.
It's terrible.
I need to go baking.
Hi, peoples. Hi, peoples. Bicycle. Okay. All right. Number 1, know thyself. These words are said to have been inscribed in Greek in the forecourt of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, where the Pythiae oracular priestesses did their work. This was one of the 147 Delphic maxims, or aphorisms, whose exact origin is unknown, but which are attributed to the 7 sages of Greece by Johannes Stobaeus, a scholar from the 5th century CE. These are wise words to consider when journeying to consult the oracle. We often look outside of ourselves for guidance when much of what we need to know is already within us. To know that yourself means to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, mentally, spiritually, and physically. When we are conscious of these things, we can make better choices about what we need to do, how to do it, and who to do it with. be mindful of your own limitations as well as those of others.
I think that's really interesting about like we look for answers through others, but the answers inside of us, because even for myself, like the times that I've gone to like therapy or something, and as I'm talking, I'm like, oh, I know what to do now. Like they haven't said a word, but just the action of me talking through it, I figure it out. We got a comment from Benedict.
Yeah, I'm like hovering over it. I
Apologizing.
thought I clicked it and I didn't.
Yeah.
Life and such, but this is my chillax hotel weekend away from real life. So that I would hop on and say hello. That's so wonderful to hear.
Yay.
I'm honored you thought of us. Jeez.
Well, in reality, he thought of you, but I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's okay. I'm glad to get an invite. Question is, will I be invited back?
Oh, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, how about fireflies, Orla? Are they even spookier? Because they have glowy butts and wings that buzz.
Are we talking about the fireflies with Cajun accents and Princess and the Frog?
Oh, Lord. Never seen one in... oh, I see. Never actually seen one. I think it's distinctly an American thing.
Yeah. Actually, no, I want to say... So I did see some when we lived in Germany.
Oh.
Because I remember my husband and my daughter going out and catching them in a jar. And then they release them the next day. Don't worry. No fireflies were harmed in the upbringing of my child. But I remember seeing them in Germany. But of course, it was like certain times a year.
All right. Here too. I thought I saw Renata. Hello, Renata.
Yep. I'm reading the chat. I feel bad. There's like air silence, but it's not always bad.
She becomes a firefly. Lightning bug. Butterbugs. Yep. In Ohio, as kids, we would rip off the buttons and smear them on our skin. Oh, the butts. Like war paint in the night, yeah.
Yeah. I know growing up in Georgia, I've moved a lot since then, but my grandfather would catch a June bug and tie a string around it. And so I'd like have a pet June bug for a little bit. Little did I know when I grew up, they die after you do that. So my childhood was happy and then tampered on with that insight.
I had no idea.
It was a fun little treat. I remember just holding it and it's flying around and I just got it on a string. Thought it was the coolest thing.
Huh. June bugs. There are a lot of June bugs around here. Holy crap.
Oh yeah. In Virginia for sure.
Mm-hmm. Wore them as rings. Oh. Never seen them in Denmark, but I'm sure they're here, yeah. Poor bugs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even notice them at times until my husband points it out, but my situational awareness is nothing to be mimicked.
Ohio kids were all about harming the lightning bugs as kids, yeah. Not me. It was always lucky if one landed on you.
Mm-hmm. Especially with butterflies, it was lucky if it landed on you.
I
didn't move.
So I grew up with the idea that butterflies, especially black butterflies, were the spirits of the dead.
Oh.
So if a butterfly landed on you, then it was a member of the dead trying to communicate with you.
Oh, so it's not a bad connotation type thing.
Right.
Okay. I like that though.
Ladybugs were good luck, and mantises were good fortune.
Mm-hmm.
As are if you can manage to not get swarmed by crickets.
The chat just brought up Kelly bringing up cicadas. Oh, I don't like cicadas.
They're so loud here.
Oh yeah, growing up in Georgia was so loud, and I always thought, I was like, oh, 17 years. Then I was like, wait a second, I remember this multiple times in my life, and I haven't lived 17 years yet. And they're like, oh no, there's 17-year cicadas, 9-year cicadas, 15-year, like naming all these years. I'm like,
there's
great.
different broods. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, come on. So I'm questioning whether when I retire, if I want to go to Georgia now or anywhere in the South that has cicadas.
Butterflies and red cardinals are messengers of those who've passed on. Red cardinals, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. Oops. Black butterflies around me. Every summer I also see tons of dragonflies, which are symbolic of prosperity. Yeah, absolutely. Seeing a ladybug here represents good luck as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, ladybugs too, if they land on you.
Cicadas from Animal Crossing. I'm used to, I think of like anime growing up, where that's where I heard cicadas or locusts, probably cicadas. Every summer, it's like the sound of summer, the buzzing.
Yeah, I mean there is a reason I have a like relaxing go to sleep app, and it has grasshoppers, and it also has like a cicada button for like that's summer. Cute.
Yeah.
I don't click the cicada button though.
Well, my nickname is Ladybug. Aww. Had one visit my laptop last month. It was incredible. Yeah. Enjoy that. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. I do find it interesting to read stories like where, yes, we were talking about like black butterflies, someone from your family that's passed on and trying to give you a message, or it can just be somebody. But I love the stories of like, for example, my husband, his brother died when he was young. His brother was 16 and my husband was 9 at the time. And my father-in-law used to always get onto my husband's older brother about like changing the light bulbs because he would just not change it. It would go out and he would never change it. Oh. And so after he passed away, my father-in-law went to go change the light bulb, and before he even touched it, it turned on its own. Like, I mean, it had been like burnt out. Could have sworn it had been burnt out. He didn't flip the switch or anything. He was just about to touch it and it turned on, and he thought that was a sign from the older brother. So
it could also have been
like that. It could have been, but he hadn't touched it yet. At least the story I'm hearing. Think memory can affect as it goes on. You remember things differently. Sure. But things like that. I believe there's symbols, but I think there's also like personalized messages or symbols of.
Absolutely. Morning meds taken care of. When I get a good photo of one, I'll send it to whoever made me think of. Oh, that is really sweet and cool. They aren't around lately. I'm assuming they migrated. Hummingbirds are big. Oh,
yes.
Hummingbirds used to come for the lavender. Like, the lavender draws a lot of really cool shit.
I have a hummingbird feeder, but it got to the point where I was having to pretty much put it out almost every like 2 days. It was like I feel bad for not putting it out because obviously they were using it, but at the same time I was like, I can't keep up with you.
What's your news? Also, hi, Keelan.
Hey, Keelan.
Oh, rhymes a lot, yeah. What's your news? What's your news? All right. While you type up your news, I'm going to read the next paragraph. Number 2, maintain balance. This sounds like knowing how to practice moderation, but it also requires understanding extremes and working with them. Sometimes we must take an extreme position or action to correct a situation. Balance is a state of mind, not an exact location. Part of maintaining balance is understanding that every action and intention has possible positive and negative reactions to varying degrees. Whether something is positive or negative, helpful or harmful, has a lot to do with perspective, and we should endeavor to see outside of our own personal spectrum. Is something you're doing helpful or hurtful to yourself or others?
I feel like I was meant to be on the chat today because I feel like everything, the paragraphs you're covering, I'm like, I've been dealing with this stuff. Like, I just love it when things hit home. It's relatable.
That's awesome.
If only they would clean our house like Disney animals usually do.
Well, the birds aren't going to clean the house. It's the mice and the squirrels and the foxes. They clean house. Found the perfect house. Fits in the price range. 21 acres. Wow. End of a dead end road called Coon Hollow. Oh my gosh. But we still got to close on the place we are in now. Oh my gosh.
I hope y'all get it. It sounds so perfect. It also sounds like the setup for a horror flick, but it also sounds like the perfect getaway. I know I've been watching a few of the YouTube videos of authors, like writer dreams that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, they just want to get like a large amount of acres and have like a writer's retreat that writers can come to just get away.
That seems to be a common, yeah.
Yeah. And 23 acres, you could do it. Not that saying you wanted to, but because sometimes, like my husband, he wants 23 acres just because he doesn't want to look out his back porch and see a neighbor.
It's the south side of town that's along the Ohio River and Kentucky border. So it still means you can be in Appalachia. And also that means that you're closer to me. Oh boy.
And that fits your 15-year plan that you were talking about, where it was like 15 years in Ohio and then another 15 years. And you would get enough appreciation on that place that in 15 years you could make some money off of it. Not that that's your primary goal, but.
But yeah, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Well, especially right now, no one wants to, they're limiting scheduling meetings and stuff. No one wants to like pile into a room to sign paperwork.
Cul-de-sac, since it's in a neighborhood in the metro area, but looking back, it's hard to tell we're not in the forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love this.
I personally, concerning the book, I personally, I call myself a gray witch because, yeah, I help people, but I am constantly armed. Like, I have the knowledge to, fuck a bitch up if I got it.
Don't push my buttons.
Right. So I try to keep things balanced. Like, I'm not a light worker by any means.
Yeah.
Like,
my only exposure to witches and Wiccan, not because I know sometimes you don't group them together.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I'm not Wiccan. Yeah, I'm not Wiccan.
Yes, there's a difference and everything. So I'm relearning things that I learned on my own at 16, and I was actually even younger than that, probably like 13 or 14. And at that time, it didn't make much sense. And the only main thing I remember in my research was the whole idea of whatever you put out in the world is going to come back to you.
Yep.
That and I forget the exact number because I know it wasn't a 1-for-1 of like.
No, it's the rule of 3. Yeah.
Rule of 3. Okay. I was like, is it 3? Is it 7?
The 3 rule, or the 3 law, or 3rd law, or something like that.
Yeah. So those were the only things I remember. And then I remember I got tarot cards, but they were fairy tarot cards.
Cool.
It was fun, but somehow it did not carry on with me through the years because I don't know where they are at all.
Well, it also, I find that it takes a lot of discipline to make the life changes that, like, being a witch usually, I wouldn't say demands. Threefold law. Thank you, that thing.
There we go.
I don't know if I think things come back threefold. I do believe in karma.
Yes.
Right? That's the Buddhist in me that believes in karma. Also, the judgment card in tarot. In my deck, it's actually called karma. Complete. All the things. All right. Accept responsibility. Number 3. Okay. With the vision that comes from understanding how to maintain balance, we perceive cause and effect and the implication of our own involvement. Therefore, this key inherently requires us to be willing to accept responsibility for what we do and say. Part of being a witch is being able to acknowledge, accept, and work with both the known and the unknown consequences of our actions and words. Take into consideration the outcome of any working could be what the outcome of any working could be beyond your own intentions. Yeah, I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the idea of the consequences of your spell work kind of biting you or biting other people in the butt. I wanted to help Australia when it was on fire.
Oh yeah.
And then it started raining, and it started raining a lot, and it started flooding. And I was like,
to me, that kind of ties into accepting consequences is like your video about the moon box, if I'm remembering correctly, the intentions that you write. So clicking, am I saying things wrong? Or did you freeze? Okay.
No, did I freeze? Is that a thing?
You're good. But your video that you posted recently, you were talking about your intentions, and you put the box out in the moonlight for 30 days and such. And I remember you wrote something, and then you started to write it, and then you said, actually, it needs to be in present, like you're manifesting it.
Right.
And I found that interesting, that something just as like the tense of what you're asking for is so important. That attention and detail is kind of tied into the consequences. Like if you're aware of what could happen if you change the tense, then it could go there. And consequences don't always have to be negative though either.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So intention specifically, I mean, it can be positive or negative, right?
Yeah.
So if you are in a dark place and relatively negative all the time, then more negative things are going to happen, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, I suck at this, and oh, that person's going to betray me, and oh, my parents hate me, and stuff like that. Then your parents are going to hate you, and shit's going to hit the fan. Absolutely. But
I definitely believe
if you say like, shit's awesome, I bring peace, AuthorTube is a peaceful place, right? And then AuthorTube will probably be a peaceful place, at least where I'm involved.
Yeah. I definitely have the belief that if you look at the world through a certain lens, you're only going to see what you're looking for. So if you're looking for bad, you're going to only see the bad and such. And and I'm not saying that people need to be a mind reader to know what consequences are, but when the consequences arise from the actions, don't get hung up on the blame.
I don't think there's any room for blame.
Yeah.
Like anywhere. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. It happened. And you deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
And
I think
hopefully you grow from it.
When a mistake happens, you can either make a second mistake by your reaction to it, or you can start fixing it.
Yep.
So, bye, Kelly. Sorry that you got to go. But
heart your face.
We'll see
heart
you tomorrow.
Your heart.
Yay.
See you tomorrow. Have a good day. It's going to be great, Kelly. All right.
Next paragraph. Because these are starting to hit home. This is like my whole belief system.
These 3 keys combined can guide you through many situations you will encounter on your path as a witch. If you are considering a course of education, knowing what your limits are and what you need to work on can help you make the best choice. When using divination, you can consider how you and or others will react to a situation and calculate possible outcomes. With your own idiosyncrasies in mind, you can avoid making common mistakes and steer clear of trouble. You can learn more about the merits of your character and what you are willing to put up with or sacrifice to achieve a desired outcome. With patience, compassion, and understanding in hand, these keys will empower your path and illuminate your way as a witch. Yay. So
like
that was...
In summary, it's like know your self-worth almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's a part of it. I don't know if it's
not the all-encompassing. Yeah.
It's not the focal point, but it is something to consider. Absolutely. Know thyself, maintain balance, and accept responsibility. Let's see. Witchcraft today, from yesterday to tomorrow.
The evolution.
The modern tradition of witchcraft was founded with the intent of creating a sensible, fluid, and living path for the modern witch. That intent certainly birthed such a way, even if the initial idea of a formal, structured tradition didn't exactly stick. The phenomenon of modern traditional witchcraft, allows for so much more than what the initial idea could have encompassed. The modern traditional witch doesn't have to follow a specific deity or undergo a secret initiation. Wiccan. They can live and be from anywhere. They don't need a house or a coven to practice with. They find their footing in their own roots, the endless possibilities at their fingertips, and the potential within their hearts and minds. As we move forward in this book, I want to remind folks that witchcraft is not for the elite or the elitist. Nice. Its roots lay deep within the earth, while its branches break the sky. It requires us to be grounded, practical, and creative all at the same time. Sure, we can geek out over the details and wax poetic about esoterica. However, if we forget how to be in the moment, to get dirt under our nails while tasting the wine of our creations, we miss out on the actual practice of witchcraft. My goal with this book is to inspire, to break down old and outdated ideas, to be practical and metaphysical, spiritual, and embodied. There are no secrets or established pinnacles, but only possibilities and opportunities. Benedict is like, you need something for that cough. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Just saying.
All right. Let's see. Defining witch. I don't know. Do we need a definition of what witch means?
I think it's helpful for someone like myself who
kind of
was
practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's all my belief system, that like it's hitting home, and I'm like, do I need to jump back into this?
I know, it's interesting, right? with chaos magic, it was very interesting to me because I had always considered myself eclectic. But then I started studying chaos magic specifically, and I was like, I didn't know there was a word for this thing I do. I didn't know there was a word for this thing I do. I'm like, there are terms in their vocabulary for all the things that I do. I guess I'm a chaos witch. I guess that's just what I've been all this time. I'm just putting a label on it now.
Yeah, it doesn't change for what you did before because you're not changing it. It's just now there's a shorter title for it.
Right.
And we
All right.
we got Nicole Ford Thomas has jumped in.
Hi, Nicole Ford Thomas, my bestie. The witch is an archetype, a character of many faces and descriptions influenced by time and culture. In order to understand who is the witch and what it means to be one, we will define the word and delve into the history. We'll consider where the witch originated, the nuances of becoming one, and the array of factors involved in choosing this word and this path. Made me giggle so much that I accidentally drew 2 tarot cards instead of 1.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Very eclectic and kitchen witchy. I just refer to myself as pagan to include all my thoughts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Actually, personally, from what I remember with tarot cards, if you accidentally draw 2, you still use both, and they are like melding into whatever position they are standing for.
They're both.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
I remember more stuff than I thought.
So, but I completely understand not taking the moniker of witch, even though you do witchy things, because there's a specific lifestyle, I feel like, and a philosophy of looking at life and the universe and everything when you take on the moniker of witch, which is why you can be a witch and not necessarily like a chaos witch or a Wiccan or you're not taking it spiritually, you're taking it as a life philosophy, right? So Buddhism is treated very much the same way, right? Like, for instance, Soka Gakkai International is Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism. That's the Buddhism that I grew up with. And I live by those tenets. I live by that philosophy. It's a lifestyle that's all I've ever known because I'm 3rd generation. So I've never even touched Christianity or anything like it. Judaism. I've studied the mythos. It's a great mythology, and that's about all it means to me. Yeah. But there are those who shave their heads and wear orange robes and live in temples in the mountains. And then there's people like me, the layman, it's my lifestyle. And sure, I can be spiritual about it. I was for a very long time, but I think I could go into how I feel about the community and all of that, but I'm not going to do that. But there's like there can be a separation of like life philosophy and religion. And, being a witch can be very empowering for women who have, felt powerless like their whole lives.
Give them a sense of agency.
It gives them agency. Absolutely. I don't think, I believe in balance again, right? So I'm not Dianic, which means I don't think it's solely feminine.
Oh, thank you. I was like, what is that?
Dianic, yeah.
So
Dianic, yeah. To be a Dianic means like, men have no place in magic.
Oh God, no.
I think men are required just as women are required, and like day is required for night and black is required for white, and It's just the dichotomy needs
the
to
balance that we were already talking about. There's a balance.
Right. That's how I live. That's how I practice. Right. So also I need more coffee too. I guess at some point we need to get to the point where labels are no longer important. We're just witches.
Yeah.
That
As
would
a society, though, we like to label things. We like to recognize with a name what it is, what to expect with it. But the thing is, there's so many facets of the types of witches and stuff, as well as even like you were just talking about having the lifestyle and then the beliefs, the actual belief system and how it can be separate. So are we going to have like sub like -L for lifestyle or -B for belief system and labeling? Just it's something that we like to do, and I wish we didn't.
It does. In my younger days,
Yeah.
I was kind of gatekeeping a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Right. For instance, like fake gamer girls, when that became like a really big thing in 2005, 2004,
Yep.
right? Of like pinup models were doing gamer themed things, even though they weren't gamers. They were just trying to appease a
niche
audience.
market.
And I would gatekeep these girls because I was like, I have been treated like crap for being a gamer girl my whole life, right? But treated like crap by men in the gamer community, absolutely, right? So to have them revere these fake gamer girls was like insulting to me. And I could see something like that happening to a 20-something witch who takes it spiritually, who's been practicing since they were 13, and then looking at someone who's just like living the lifestyle or like taking the moniker to empower themselves, right? They might become offended. So I think I've grown out of that. I think if a woman finds it empowering to call herself a witch, then that is the life. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a half-butt witch. I get the actual practicing part. Yeah, I gotcha. Using them for plotting a book. Oh, it's the tarot cards. So every card is helpful in this case, and worse things could happen. Yeah. Cottage witch here. Awesome. I don't know if we're just listing that off, but the butler hasn't brought my coffee yet. Anyone know of any sprints? It's Friday. I don't know of any sprints per se.
I think Keelan just went live, but I don't know if she's doing sprints. Hold on, I'm jumping over to see. I'm not seeing anybody live right now out of like the people that I follow.
No, not now. In an hour or two or later on. I know people who are going live, but they aren't doing sprints. They're either a chat and write as you work, or it's like a just chat while you watch the premiere, which is like an hour-long video. I'm assuming the butler isn't real, as most cottages don't have butlers. Most of them, anyway. What? That explains the delay on my coffee. I let others label me. I hate labeling myself. I get that.
And the thing is, you can't just use one label. One label is not going to encompass everything. If you're going to label it and you want a full idea, it's going to take multiple. And even then, they're going to cross over each other and contradict each other and all the time.
Similar to calling someone Christian, the same dynamic of, well, I'm actually one. It's in all faiths. Yeah.
That's the way I feel as I've gotten older. I grew up Christian, and then I became agnostic or realized I was agnostic. And then now, as I've grown my spiritual belief system, not necessarily tied to a greater entity or anything, is I realize I'm actually quite spiritual and I'm poly-spiritual, where
Sure.
I'm taking a bit from everywhere.
Yeah, I got you. But yes, gatekeeping for Christianity happens all the time.
I actually have an interesting
Indieverse
story
is
with that.
happening in 10 minutes. Indieverse.
Oh, Indieverse, that's right. Keelan was doing
Do we know
that.
what their topic this week is?
I can probably find out in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Um,
Okay, it's been 2
yeah,
shakes.
she's
I
not
haven't found
coming up in my suggested watch my things
it.
list. She would have to go live in order for it to pop up in my recommend.
Yeah. Right now, you're the only one I'm showing live, Psycho. I know she said she had to prepare for the Indieverse.
Oh,
And usually hers are later. Oh, my son's having a tantrum.
oh, cool.
It's okay. My husband has. He's fine.
Get into a lot of molds that make the molds I actually belong to refute me. Oh, I gave up caring about being anything with others. I'm just what I am. Yeah.
When you can find peace in yourself without the validation of others, I feel like that's very liberating. And then that's when you actually find your group after that.
Your
When you
tribe.
stop, like it's kind of like when you stop trying, it works.
Mm-hmm. All right. See you later, Jenny. Hi, Heather. Great weekend. Hey, Heather. Indieverse starts at the same time that I do breakfast, so I always miss the first bit when it's at 9 a.m. She'll be interviewing and discussing world building. Oh, cool.
Ooh.
So I am, somewhere
I know
between.
Charlie is going to release a video about world building soon.
Oh,
I
awesome.
think if I remember correctly, she was talking about
Charlie is like world building is her expertise. Like that
yes. And Charlie was talking about how some people gate world building, think it's only fantasy, and even I thought it, even though I don't write fantasy yet. I'm not putting my
There's more
stopper on myself.
involved.
There's more worlding involved for sure, but even in my contemporary novel, and it takes place in one space, I still have rules of the world that I have to adhere to, of like what a therapist would or would not do, or my character and such like that type of the world, part of the world building in that aspect.
Orlando? Shrug? Yeah, I'll look into that. That sounds fun. Also, happy after birthday. It's very merry on birthday to you. To you. A very merry on birthday to you. Yeah.
This is your birthday song. It doesn't last too long. That was my favorite. I had a coworker that would do that every time it was my birthday, and like when I quit that job and I went somewhere else, I messaged her on Facebook and I was like, I need my birthday song. I was like, it's not my birthday without that, because that is like the one birthday song that I'll accept, because it's gotten to the point as I got older. Yes, I want my cookie cake with icing, but I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't want presents. I don't want like everyone looking at me singing. I just no.
So the question is, do I even start defining a witch, or do we wrap up and I let you get on with your day?
I at least want to hear how they define witch, because I feel like everyone has a different definition, even though I would think it should be standard, but there's not really a Webster dictionary that would work well in this situation. So I really want to hear their definition for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to talk about who or what is a witch and what it means to be one, I think it's important to consider how the word witch is often defined, as well as its various interpretations. At first, witch may seem like an easy word to define, but it's not unlike a rat's nest covered in layers of debris. There are a lot of different theories about the origins of the word, and there is even more cultural baggage associated with it. Let's start untangling it by starting with the most common outside views. If we look in any basic dictionary, we'll be told that a witch is someone with malevolent supernatural powers, usually a woman in league with the devil or similar evil forces. In appearance, the witch could be an ugly old hag or beautiful and enchanting yet dangerous woman.
And
Thanks
this
to
is
the
all the
development,
myths we've heard. I'm
these
sorry.
are all the myths we've heard. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Boop. I have nieces to whisper a happy birthday song to because the song scares them and they burst into tears. Oh, poor little, oh, little
My
Bob.
first reaction is always to laugh. I feel so bad for the kids, though. I do.
You're fine. You're fine, Heather. No worries.
Yeah,
Um,
we're good.
Thanks to the developments over the last several decades, if we dig a bit deeper into the dictionary definition, we may. Let me try this again. Thanks to developments over the last several decades, if we dig a bit deeper into the dictionary definition, we may see a slight nod to contemporary religious practices. Recent history aside, the word witch has been used for centuries to demonize women, with the direct intent to disempower them and push them into submission. There are a multitude of theories for the cause of of witch hunts and trials in the 15th to 18th centuries, such as squashing other religions and related practices, seizing land and property, ridding a town of unwanted and marginal people, and getting back at the neighbors. But all have fear at the heart of them. The vast majority of victims were women, particularly those working as midwives and healers, elderly widows, and young women who were the objects of desire and jealousy. Ain't that the truth? Holy cow.
Yeah. But now the word has evolved to be an empowerment. And I kind of like that evolution of the word at least. But
Yeah.
it is maybe tainted's the wrong word, but it kind of sucks that it has such power hungry roots of like it was used to control. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what's next?
It is highly unlikely that most victims of the witch trials were witches in the sense that we'll be discussing in this book. Rather, they were scapegoats who took the blame for whatever went wrong in the village or town or suited the agenda of those making the accusations. During these times, the witch was the central focus of subconscious or unspoken fears, desires, and dangers. Witch hunters spread propaganda to line their pockets, particularly in the form of the treatise, the Malleus Maleficarum. This hammer of witches outlines how witches worked with the devil, were the cause of disease and unexplained deaths, and were a scourge of Christianity. Connecting the fear of the witch with the possibility that anyone, but especially women, could be made it easy to exercise any means to take out potential threats. This explains why so many definitions of witch have an association with women, young and old alike. But what about the time prior to the witch hunts and trials? If we look at the possible roots of the word witch, we come across a wide variety of theories, from wise one to seer, to know, to observe, to bend, and to work magic. Why would collecting wisdom, knowing, seeing, and magic be a threat to Christianity? In a word, competition. Particularly at a time when the Roman Catholic Church was looking to expand its reach and its coffers, with other religions and practices were perceived as a threat. The Crusades were all about rescuing the Holy Lands from the Jews and Arabs and spreading Christianity to the pagans and heathens while taking over their land. Healing practices, mythology, and divination from other religions and cultures competed with the stories of Jesus' own healing magic, powers of sight, miracles, and divinity. In order to conquer those places and ideas, those things had to be vilified, to be seen as evil or unclean. Oh, I just watched a video about this for a paper I'm writing for myself. Awesome!
Ooh.
Also, I wish I had been able to use the full power. Maybe you do. You just haven't tapped into it yet.
Actually, that kind of reminds me of when, I forget whose channel you were on, Sako, but you were talking about Scorpios being manipulative.
Oh, sure.
But you were like, it's not always in a bad way. Sometimes it's to empower you and give you the confidence to accomplish the task that you're trying to talk yourself out of. And that's what the malevolence. It's like, well, maybe your cheery disposition is influencing others and such. So,
or you can smile and still stab someone in the back. You know.
Yeah, very true.
Yay, Orla Spence! Yay, all the love. Okay. In her article on the derivation of the word witch, Doreen Valiente explores many of the theories behind the origin of this word, or at least those in popular discussion prior to her death in 1999. Every decade, there seems to be a new idea about how the word developed, where it came from, and how it is used. She states that she believes the word means that a witch... Oh, cool. That a witch was a seer, a knower, an averter of evil, and that it did not possess any negative meanings until the advent of Christianity. As much as I adore Doreen Valiente and can resonate with her summary, I think there has always been some fear attached to the word witch. In every culture on this planet, there is a word used to describe a person who works with spirits and deities, who uses magic and divination in some form. In some places, they may have two words, one to describe an individual who uses the power for good and another to describe the opposite. But often they are one and the same, and anyone who deals with mysterious powers in the unknown realms is often looked upon with a mixture of fear and awe by others. On one hand, a witch could be asked to make medicine to heal or perform a blessing, and on the other, they may be sought out to help administer a brew to cause an abortion or help ease someone into death. That line between malevolent and benevolent is a little too thin, if it exists at all, for many people to be comfortable with, even if they've both kinds of service convenient for their needs. Yeah. Knowing human nature, even in the societies where the witch person has garnered respect over the ages, there probably has been and still is a bit of awe and fear present in that mix. Oh my gosh.
You're like, there's so many pages.
The origin of the witch, which I don't think I need.
Yeah.
Natural born witch versus made witch. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, that is interesting because to me that's kind of tied to like leadership. Some people think there's born leaders and then leaders are made.
Same with art, same with music, whether it's talent or whether it's just innate ability. I don't think that talents are formed, talents are made, right? And those who are naturally good at things, they just, I wouldn't call them talented. They're just enabled.
Yeah, I saw, so I have an app on my phone called Webtoon Comics, and it's awesome comics that are posted up. They're technically graphic novels type situation, and people post up episodes, and there's this one called Adventures of God. Very hilarious, but they followw this guy named Bob or something. And Bob's like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And, goes out through life. And then he goes to heaven. And it's like, God, you made me, inept. Like, why did you create me? I can't do anything. And God's like, no, actually, you had great potential to play the saxophone. You just never picked it up and tried.
Mm-hmm.
And then it showed him further down. It said willpower at 0. But but it was an interesting idea of, if you don't try, you're never going, and practice, you're never going to succeed. But he had this potential to be great if you would just pick it up, try, and practice. You can't just magically be perfect.
You gotta be disciplined, right?
Yes.
So when I graduated high school, I drew constantly. I played music constantly. I danced constantly. And all of my friends wanted to learn something cool before they went off to college. So one of them wanted to learn guitar. I was like, okay, I'll show you how to play guitar, but you have to practice.
Yes.
You have to. And so I'm like, here's the drill that you're doing. Do that for a month and then come back to me.
Mm-hmm. And for then me, when I played guitar, it was the hammer-ons. Hammer-ons were always difficult for me.
That looked kind of vulgar, but that's what it is. Oh, she's doing the Indieverse thing, I think.
Yes. And actually, I did find another author tuber, writer tuber, creator tuber that is doing sprints this morning too. So when we get off, I'll throw her name out there if anybody wants to join in. Sometimes Friday's a good productivity day. Oh, and while I've got a few minutes of airtime, thank you to everyone who subscribed, because I went from like 62 and now I'm at like 67 followers. So hopefully you don't feel the need to unsubscribe. I will live up to expectations.
It'll be good. Millwordy. For those of us not doing Millwordy, we are interested in that journey.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I feel guilty with Millwordy because, okay, technically I did a 10,000 day, but over half of the words were me reading critically, as I call it, because I was reading someone's chapter. And so I was counting the words of the chapter that I was reading because my mind is in that, how can this be better? So I think it should count. But then I also included the comments that I wrote up as well, because I was thinking, how can I convey the idea so they understand what I'm suggesting? And so that's where I feel guilty. But that just means at some point I'm going to do a 10K day, like a true one, so that I can actually say I've done one without having the, I've done one.
Yeah, I gotcha. I made it to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
In a day, and I was like, screw this, I'm going to bed.
The most I've done was 5. I think what would take for me to do 10K is to have a detailed outline.
I had a detailed outline, exactly. Whew. If it wasn't for that, I would never have made it.
Yeah.
So there is this blog going around Pinterest for witchy things. That basically says how to tap into your ancestors, how to get, like magic from your ancestors. And it basically was like, hey, why don't you research the, Salem and New York witch stuff, that, and I was like, that'd be really great if my family was from there.
Yeah, if we're not from there, I don't get it. So,
like mom was from Germany, my dad was from California, and really lived in Guam and Hawaii, right? So I'm like, not applicable to me. But for those who can do it, do the hell out of it. Absolutely. Freaking, I am here for it. Absolutely. still torn between doing a Tenge day and finish filling my sketchbook for my insane birthday challenge. Ooh. Was this the traveling witch? Yeah. She's one of my favorites. She is. She's one of my favorites. But she was basically like making assumptions about the American witch, and it doesn't apply.
Labeling doesn't do well, I think. Well, and also, like you were talking about researching back to the Salem witch trials, like that's almost like this mindset that witches only existed in Salem. It's like, no, it's like you just read, it's evolved over time, and even though they weren't labeled witch, seer, oracle, or and stuff, like it's been in history throughout.
Yeah. But yes, I love the traveling witch. She's great. My biological ancestors trace back to Ireland, but that doesn't really count because I have no contact with this family. Right. Exactly. So something that I kind of struggle with my practice a little bit is so Buddhism runs in my family on the Japanese side. Absolutely. Like third generation, right? And there are Japanese gods that I work with, but they're Shinto gods, right? And so Shinto was the religion of Japan by law, and those who exercised Buddhism of any kind were put in jail or executed, or both, right? So there were members of my family that were tried for practicing Buddhism instead of Shinto. And like, do I disrespect my family line by working with Benzaiten? Like, do I do that? Or do I just consider them like an extraneous god? And because I kind of do. They're just an extraneous god that likes to work with me. And
I kind of like that mindset because I've never liked binary thinking of it's us against them type thing, because I feel like we're
do that. Yeah.
We're all in the same world. Like it's, I mean, just like in like when you have coworkers and stuff that you don't really like, you still got to get the job done, and you just kind of learn to work with each other. Or even a better, to fit this situation, your friend doesn't like them, you don't mind them, but you're just trying to be Sweden.
Yeah. Family is full of hillbillies, the literal ones. Our healing magic is hilarious and often involves moonshine. Yeah. I have a book on Appalachian magic, like Appalachian conjure. So it's generally Christian based, but there are things that are involved in conjure that are certainly applicable to my practice. Absolutely. I just don't get my magic from God. I don't do that. So I'm continuing my study of Appalachian conjure, and so there's nothing wrong with having hillbillies as your lineage. There's wisdom in those hills, absolutely, and also moonshine.
I mean, moonshine's in here. Why not?
Let's be honest. Absolutely. Argentina with Celtic roots and Finnish. That's what counts for me. There are witches living in both countries even to this day. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what I find interesting is like we're such a combination of so many different cultures. Like there's no way that you can, because you're an result of these cultures meshing together, why would you keep them separate in your belief system structure? and such.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and appropriation of gods is something that I'm really like hesitant about. Like people who follow Odin and old gods like that. And I'm like, um, do you hang your favorite dog from the tree every Wednesday? Is that a thing that you do? Like, how do you even practice a god of war when you're not a soldier? Like,
Yeah.
how,
Unless we're talking about verbal wars and you just really like to debate, in which case, be a politician.
so
Or one of these talk radio hosts or something.
I used to try and just look at, Gaulish and or Visigoth gods and Japanese gods and kind of like things that I had lineage to. But I'm not gonna lie, the Hindu gods are awesome. Like they're
I'm just
so
saying.
happy. They're so happy that someone is like, paying homage to them. They're so easy to please too. Like
Oh, nice.
they're so happy to work with me that like it's like borrowing a cup of milk from the neighbor. Like it's really cool. Like it was
I
expected
love
like
that.
years and years and years ago, but now that it's like happening these days, it's like that was awesome.
I like that there's no discrimination.
There's no
Between
discrimination. If you
I
go to
just think
India,
that.
if you go to India and you're outside a temple, they will grab you and try to pull you into the temple and show you things and like teach you how to worship and stuff like that. Right?
I love it when a culture is willing when they don't gatekeep. They're just like, you know what? Here, let me show this to you. Like, take
They're
it.
so happy to share it. Right?
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I get that from Ganesh. I get that from Saraswati. I get that from Kali. Right?
Ooh.
Like I haven't needed Kali in a hot minute. I almost called on her last week. um,
I'm glad you talked yourself out. Or handle it otherwise. Understand the temptation.
So gatekeeping seems really weird to me because working with it, the important part is your relationship with the god, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think it matters like what people think your relationship with the god should be like. Like my judgment of Odin followers who don't like gods of sacrifice, right? Like, how do you worship a god of sacrifice in the modern age without being a serial killer? Like,
Sorry, my screen just changed.
yeah, no worries.
But I'm hearing every word. I'm heading downstairs to go sit with my son because my husband wants to go golf. Because why not? I'll let him go.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to have a change of scenery as we continue this conversation. And y'all will partially see my house,
Woo.
which I rent. So it's definitely not mine. Okay, but you were talking about calling upon them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
now I'm comfy.
And one of these days, I'm sure I'll do a video on the invocation of God forms and stuff like that. I think I did a video on God forms when I did my series. Did I get around to posting that? I don't remember.
My memory's bad, so.
It's like between tulpas and servitors and God forms. Oh, felt this in Iceland. I'm not from there, but it was so welcoming. I'm not talking about touristy things. I'm talking about nature in itself was so welcoming. Exactly. There is a park not far from here. They've developed it a little bit recently, and there's this spot next to the creek that I love to go. Like, it's not exactly welcoming, but it's like a dog that's been hurt and you go to like touch them and they're like, right? Like, just the vibe of the woods are just like, they're not mad, they're just hurt.
And so
And
you're trying to show them compassion and gain their
so
trust.
I clean the area. I offer some kind of offering like fire or love or music or something. And that's the thing. I respect Odin, part of the pantheon, but my deities are Hodor and
Oh my gosh, Spence, hold on.
Scotty, Huthor, or Hathor, Hathor.
Oh,
I don't
was
know
going to read
how.
that as like Hordor a little bit because it looked like a D.
Yeah, but it's a thorn, right? So.
Oh. Yes, sweetie. It's turning on. He's talkative, but he doesn't say much.
Love to go somewhere that feels welcoming like that. Everything around here is so old and muddy and angry and wants to eat you. Where are you, Spence? That everything is old and angry. I can work with the dead very easily. Like, that's always been like my natural knack.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I get drunk when I go into cemeteries. Especially
it's just a little more welcoming.
Yeah. So when I went to Savannah.
Oh, Savannah, yes. Like that is, you don't even have to enter the cemetery. Just
the roads are literally paved
yes.
with the dead. Right. So
completely.
So like going on haunted walks and stuff like that in Savannah is like super fun.
I'm such a scaredy
They
cat
mostly
though,
do hey, all of our bars are haunted, so let's talk about the story of the bar. And yeah, that's fun. Yeah, sure, okay.
I like the stories, but I can't discern between playful spirits and actual malevolent ones.
Oh.
And so I'm scared of both because I'm like, okay, are they actually playing with me and like just getting a kick out of scaring the crap out of me? Or
that is a valid concern. Absolutely. Yeah. I recommend protecting yourself first and then being like, are you playing? Are we good? Are we friends? I don't know. Like, I don't play with the Fae like at all because they can be mean. They can be crafty. They like steal your shit. Like, they're like ferrets. Like, freaking find my lighter in the tub and shit. Like it's annoying. So when I hear people like working with Fae, I'm just like, good on you, cause no thank you.
Just like we were talking about the differences, my son wants to play a video game, even though he's 2.5 and he can't really beat it. But either way, I'm gonna help him expand his mind. But we were talking about the different witches, and I feel like by having like chaos, cottage witches and stuff, like all these differences, each person fulfills something different. And I think that, and together, it's going to sound lame because the first thing that comes to mind is like our powers combined, Captain Planet. But
we all have our place in the universe, right?
Yes, our piece to contribute. So yeah, I think it's just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad.
That's kind of spoopy.
Yes, good job.
Used to live in the Low Country. Savannah was like stepping into a whole different plane. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, honey.
Yeah. Fae are not safe to play with. The only time where I deal with Fae at all is I will say hi and I will dance and I will hang out with Fae during belting. They like to hang out around me, especially if I'm hanging out in the woods. they're like, "Ooh, hey, what's up?" And then I'll leave like an apple or something and bolt out of there, unless they're on my property, in which case I'm like, hi and bye.
For me, I sometimes at night when I go to sleep, I feel like there's a force in the house.
Mhm.
And so what I do is something that I just done, and I don't study or anything, but I imagine the love I have for myself and my family is like this aura, and I imagine it as like a gold filmy thing, and I
Mhm.
allow it to grow, and it combines with my husband's golden love as well, and it grows and fills, and I go through in my mind as I'm laying in bed, and it fills each room of the house, and it combines when I get to my son's room, it combines with his golden glow, fills all the nooks and crannies. So I have like the entire floor plan in my head going through as the film is growing to the point that it expands to the property lines.
Sure.
By the end of it, and after that happens, and I do that in my mind, I feel better. Like I feel like I've pushed out whatever entity it was.
That's a really nice way of cleansing. If you
Yeah.
have the oomph to use visualization to like boot them the hell out of your sanctum, awesome.
Because I go through every single room. It's like really methodical, and I don't even. It's just something that seemed right for me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not every night, but
But
every
most
few
nights,
nights.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I just seemed right.
A
I was
lot
like
of
this.
people, well, a lot of people don't have that kind of self-agency, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't feel right doing it to the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it specifically to the bedroom, and I don't do it. I actually have someone else deal with it. I made a guardian, so I made my room my sanctum. It's basically a
Yeah.
temple, and um,
For me, I think of my kids and stuff, and I'm like, and so I always wanted to make sure, and they can go anywhere in the house. So I'm like, the house needs to be safe, and then they play in the yard too. So I was like, okay, fine, the property line.
the
If
property
it's on
line.
the sidewalk, I don't care, but on the property line where my kids will be, I need it good.
Yes, yes, this. Yeah, can't leave. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we get it. We get it. All right, it is 10:30. I don't
Yes.
want to. You have a thing that you are going to
Yeah.
do, and I am going to hang out on the Indieverse and see what the world building thing is like.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me today,
Thank
Natalie.
you for having me. I'm so glad we can make this work. And I think I was supposed to, like I said, because everything you read, I'm like, what? This
Are you talking
still
about
hitting
me?
close to
Look,
home. So
I'm so
I'm
glad
glad I
that
came
you're
here.
resonating with it. Yeah, that it's
Yes,
resonating with you.
definitely.
So of course you are always welcome back. We
Thank
can
you.
always
When
like
I'm off work,
when you're
I'll
off
be able to.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Otherwise, I'll be lurking in the chat
Also
as I
nice to
normally
see
do.
you, Natalie.
Oh, yay!
Um, and
Yeah.
we
I
will
mean,
catch you. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, yeah, and feel free to subscribe or just catch me on Sako's channel when I pop in when I can.
Yay! Yeah, if
So
you're not subscribed to Natalie yet, please
yeah.
to be following.
Yeah.
Have a
So
great weekend. See you guys for Vampire tomorrow.
oh yeah. Oh yes. I'm gonna be listening on my phone, so I won't be able to like comment and stuff. But I normally just listen anyway. There's not much commenting. I feel weird commenting because I'm not a player, so I shouldn't comment because then it comes across. I wouldn't comment in a play that I'm watching, so why should I comment here? Either way.
Right. Yeah, I understand the weirdness.
Yeah, but I still love to listen. So your confusion is confusing me.
There's there's nothing wrong with playing video games. However, if he is not open to education, then I apologize. Don't know what to tell you. But also, I will catch